And for Alexander Hernandez right here, man, listen, good form as of late. You can't deny it. 3 victories, got the knockout win over Chase Hooper, which in hindsight, now that I look back on it, I think it was a pretty poor game plan by Chase Hooper more than it was being impressed by Alexander Hernandez, because I didn't watch that fight in real time. So I only watched the replay of it. And when I went back to watch film, I was like, man, I wanted to be so much more impressed with Alexander Hernandez, but I'm just not getting it. And that's not a knock to him. It's just more of, you saw how Chase Hooper fought, and you're like, oh, that was kind of silly. Diego Ferreira, on the other hand, we've seen this story play out a million times, man. Old, crafty veteran. And when I mean old, I actually mean it this time. 40 years old right here, crafty veteran. And yeah, listen, you got some wins, you got some losses, but you're going to stick around until the end unless he get finished right here. And Hernandez has not been the most exquisite finisher in his career as of late. So talk to me, brother. Hernandez, does he deserve to be look at that. It's actually even money right now. I think he had a much higher line when I looked at it last. Even money right here, minus 113 a pop. What's the play?
Yeah, Derek, this is an interesting one. And I want to go back to what you were saying earlier about Hernandez, because I'm with you. I as much as I possibly can want to be an Alex Hernandez fan, there's so much going against it that it makes it really, really hard. Like, this guy came out with such heat, such ferocity that you're like, man, this guy's going to be a star. And then we really started to see where, his career has started to kind of be, unstable, if you will. But I do think he's showing a lot more promise and a lot more poise now that he's getting to be a little bit older of a fighter. And we're starting to see him come into his second gear, if you will, his moment where he's forming into an actual legitimate fighter now instead of not just a brawler. And I think we're going to be able to see that technique, that skill, that poise that I'm talking about put on display and not be outcrafted by the crafty veteran that we have in Diego Ferreira right here. Because, yeah, I mean, he is, like you said, 40 years old against 32 and a grizzled 32. Well, grizzled both of them. But Alexander Hernandez, who has been put through the fire, this is another really good fight to prove to Alexander Hernandez that he is in the space where he needs to be. And especially being a tweener in between lightweight and 145, this guy needs to be able to find footing in any kind of ground where he can actually drive forward.
Well, this is what's interesting to me right here. Hernandez needs to play the range and distance game, but you need to balance that with the proverbial running, right? Because he moves a lot. And you would think just stay solid, stay on that front foot and start attacking, right? But that's going to be Diego Ferreira's game plan. And given that Ferreira does not care if this fight goes to the ground. He wants scrambles. He wants to wrestle a little bit, and he wants to get on the inside and trade in the pocket right here. So I think that perception-wise, this could be a Diego Ferreira fight to win right here. Make it ugly, get inside, and make it look like Hernandez is just running for 15 straight minutes while landing a little bit more of the effective shots. If you look, they're landing at a very similar clip, about 45% for both. Yeah, Ferreira, he lands a little bit more right here. Defense is on par as well, but I just think it comes down to what the scrambles end up looking like, who gets tired. We've had cardio issues on both sides of the spectrum right here, but yeah, like I said, when it comes down to having that extra X factor to be able to walk forward and to have perception from the judges and from the fans and getting the oohs and ahs, I think that this is a Diego Ferreira fight to win for sure.
Yeah, I can see where you're at, Derek. This is actually one I was going back and forth on pretty frequently. I think if you're a Hernandez better right here, the one thing we're going to be looking to see him do is use his speed, use his athleticism, and the pressure and volume that he's going to be able to put. Because if you give Diego Ferreira a chance to play the game that he likes, where he's like, you shoot or you throw some punches, I throw some punches, you throw some punches. We play tag basically back and forth, where he's going to get the better of those exchanges. You're in for a hard time, but if you don't let off the gas tank and you just put the pressure on Diego Ferreira with the speed Hernandez presents, I see that being a big challenge for Ferreira. So if you're Hernandez, you want to bet on that youth, you want to bet on that perseverance you have and be able to really push the game plan where we've seen your trajectory as a fighter growing towards that direction.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Fair takes right here. The last part that I'm going to leave with before we give our pick on this one is just look at the losses between these two. And it's two completely different calibers right here, man. For Ferreira, it's Beneil Dariush, Gregor Gillespie, shout out to an OG, Mateus Gamrot, and Grant Dawson. For Hernandez, Billy Quarantillo, Bill Algeo, Damon Jackson. You know what I'm saying? It's just different. It's different. So when you come down to the skill set, the opposition, if Hernandez can win and win in impressive fashion right here, all right, 4 fights in a row, we're really running it. But the last 2 wins against Kurt Holobaugh and Austin Hubbard, doesn't impress me enough to say that, yeah, I think I can give you a clear edge against Ferreira. The Chase Hooper win, that was a good win, though. Regardless of game plans or whatever, that was a good win. So, with that being said, the pick is in, and it's contentious right here. I'm going to rock with the OG, the 40-year-old, which you never really want to do at this weight class, but I'm going to rock with him, 155, Diego Ferreira, and you're rolling with the great ape, Alexander Hernandez. All right, man.